What's going on, guys? You got Kwasi here for Kwasi Animation Studio and Kwasi Media Network. We are doing part 2 of the first steps of animation. So we've already positioned the character accordingly. Now all we need to do is start doing the animation. So I'm going to go over to the animation tab, which for me is not set up the way I usually would set it up. So I'm going to set it up now. Okay. All right. So in this case, usually I would have a video sequence in here, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to leave it as the MLA editor. And then, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to change it over to a, come on thing, over to a graph editor instead. Okay, I'm going to make the NLA down here instead. NLA, and then over here, I'll make it the graph editor. Okay, so in the graph editor, I'm going to make the graph editor and only tell it to only select selected curves and then sync visible range. Down here in the NLA editor, I'm going to do the same thing with sync visible range. Okay. Up here is going to say include missing NLAs. We don't want those. We just want him. This is the only thing we want. So if I click this, it's going to select the rig. Okay. All right. So now down here, I want this to be an action editor. And I'm also going to do the same thing. Okay. I'm going to tell it to select visible range. Okay. Oh, all right. All right. Now in my NLA, okay, in my NLA, I'm going to hit Control T to turn this into seconds so I can see how many seconds I have. Okay. All right. And we're going to go over here and make sure it's at 30 frames a second. And I'm doing in, I got an image sequence using EXR, open EXR. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring this down because I want to be able to see my stuff. Okay. All right. So all this stuff is just showing. I don't need this showing. All right. Okay. Now, the point here is to get him to reach the cup over to the cup. So we're going to just do that animation and then go from there. I'm not going to have him constrain the cup just yet. I'm going to be doing that in the next video. So of course, in this case, since he's already there, we're going to hit, matter of fact, not just yet. Let's come out of that. Let's go down to playback, make sure everything is on. I wanted to frame drop and I wanted to follow. Okay. Also in keying, I'm going to go up to active keying set and I'm going to tell it to select, do selected bones only. And select all this here and hit I, and now it's set. Go down to auto keying and we are ready to go. So in this case, I'm going to rename this to reach for cup. Okay. And that's what I want this animation to be. Since this is selected, I'm going to hit the N key and make sure it's on replace. All right. Okay. So I already know that the first place I need to start is at my waist. Okay, so if I was to reach forward, I would reach there first and then my arm. Now mind you, that doesn't mean my arm won't move, but we're not going to focus on the arm yet. The character is presently in IK. Okay, again, don't forget your pole targets, the rear and the front, because a lot of times what happen is you'll go, why didn't that move the right way? Pole targets. Okay, when you're using IK, FK is just going to move like a regular armature would. All right, so I want him to reach forward, so I'm going to grab this and pull my stuff out. It's in local already, so for the sake of it, now let's say if I had walls or whatever, I would just hide all of that so I could see the character from whatever angle I need to see the character from. Okay. All right, so that's one of the biggest things that I like to do. All right, so we already know he's going to reach forward some, so I'm going to roll him forward a little bit. Oh, not yet. Let's roll that back. Okay, so for the sake of it, I'm going to go probably about, let's say 12 frames and then roll them forward. Okay. Also means I'm going to do another one. So I'll do this one also. Okay. And then along with right here and here. So I'll do all of them because he's going to reach completely. I want it to completely curve over. All right. So the point is here is to make sure that he completely curves over. So we look at that. Let's look at that. So if he rolls, he'll completely curve over, and that's what I want. That's what I exactly want to happen. All right. Okay. It's right here. I don't. Oh, my bad. I'm still in pose mode. All right. Annotations, and I'm going to cut that off because I want to just instantly turn it off. All right. Okay. So now that's it. Let's play back. Oh, yeah. So it's pretty fast. So I wanted to move rather slowly. So I'm going to grab all the parts. Okay. And I feel like 20 frames should do it. Because this is like an action that is somewhere in regards to like less than a second. So yeah, he'll reach forward. I'll even go as far as to push it forward to 30. So it'll be one whole second. Because he's just reaching. Let's say 28. Yeah, go 28. So he's reaching out, so he'll reach out there. All right, so that part is done as far as I'm concerned. So roughly about at frame about 7, I'll start at 7. He's left-handed, so he's gonna reach with this hand. But this hand's gonna go back. So I'm gonna do this one first instead of having him reach. So that means I'm going to deal with his shoulder. Okay, I don't know why they're right there, but they are. Okay, so since he's rolling, matter of fact, because he's rolling that way, I'm gonna roll his shoulders also. So let's go back to the rotation tool. Grab his, is it this one or this one? Okay, yeah, so they're color coordinated, so this goes to that one. All right, so I'm gonna roll this one back. Because again, he's going forward. Well, this one won't be going that direction. I'm tripping because he's going to be reaching with that one. So that one's going to go forward because he's going to be reaching with that one. Okay. And then the other one, this one will roll back because he'll be moving forward. So we'll push that one back along with this hand. So I'll grab that hand, tilt it forward, and then I'll push it backward a little. Let's come over. Move it over a little bit, and I'll even turn the hand some. Yeah. And pole target also. All right. Busy. All right, so let's see here. Okay. So yeah. And let's see a quick playback. Turn the overlay off just so I can see. Yeah, so there it is, where he's sliding back, and that shoulder's rolling forward because he's reaching. All right. Okay. Yeah, I like that. All right. So now I'm going to take this hand. Now I'm going to make him reach forward. So again, we say 28 frames. All right, hit 3, and I'll rotate it upward. Okay. I mean, I'll grab it and make it move forward. Okay. Let's go up to it, hitting the period key on the numpad. I'm gonna reach over. Okay. And I may not be far enough forward. Again, we're not gonna deal with the hands just yet. All right, there we go. And I'll put it in here because we're gonna deal with the fingers shortly. I'll grab this one and pull it out some. All right. I think this shoulder may come forward a little bit more. There we go. All right, so let's see what action we have here. Yeah. So here I kind of want his hand to lift a little bit more. That's just what I wanted to do. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be that way. And I'll rotate it here ever so slightly. Yeah, so you see how it gives me that little bit of lift and then he goes to reach. So I feel like there will be a slight turn out here. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. It's not too bad. Yeah, you see how, like over here, we look at this hand. We'll see it slowly roll forward. All right. Okay. Another thing is his neck will roll back a little. And I think I'll do that ahead of time. And his head will go down a little bit more. All right. Okay. Not too bad. All right, so now let's do some finger work. So I already know that the hand is set. So again, this is a pretty quick process. I'll just select them. Let me turn that off so I don't get distracted by it. Okay, so once he goes to move his hand, so I think round about frame 6 or 7. Let's go with 7. I'm just gonna hit rotation on it and just get the rotation back correct. Oof, that was not done. All right, and then start to mess with how I want it to start to form a little. But I know these two definitely need to go up, so I'm probably gonna do the opposite of what I want. All right. Alrighty. Again, this is about taking your time and finding that space. I feel like that's so off. I think that's just the way that the fingers look. All right. Okay. So yeah, these two need to be in some. So I'll drag them back down. I don't know if it's going to work properly. All right, it is. Okay. Yeah, and then these two will go up a little bit higher. All right. They're going to move again this time. All right, so I want to select all of this. I think I'm going to move the hands to another location. So I think I will. I'm going to move all the fingers to a different and they probably already have a layer, but I'm just going to do it myself because I want to know the layer that I'm on. And make sure all of them are selected on both hands. Hit M, and then I'm going to move them to right here. So I already know these first two are selected, so I'll select this one, and then we just got the hands. Okay, so I'm going to select the hands. I'm going to make sure all the fingers are selected. Excuse me, and then go from there. So when I move forward some, all I have to do now is just select. I can just drag select now, and I don't have to keep fighting with all that. Okay, so I know I want these two. Excuse me, I'm sorry. To pull in some more. And then these two here will pull in. RZ. And then I'll come back over here. I'm gonna grab the wrist. Because I know this second one, not that one, is for these. We click it, it's just for those pinpoints. I don't really need the pins. I'm not using them, even though I tend to keep them selected. But yeah, so I'm gonna turn the wrist a little bit more and delete this one. Let's push it out a little bit. Why did it lag out just then? That was weird. Oh, I know why it lagged. Never mind. Let me delete that. Okay. So here is where I'm going to push. I think here. Okay, I see now why it did that. Okay. All right, so here is where I'm going to go ahead and get my thing set up. One, I want it low on it. Excuse me. Two, I'm going to go back to the fingers and I'm going to get the fingers in order. Well, let me select all of them and just go right here. Hit I. This is why I'm not having any issues, because I want it to rotate. I want it to be in the correct orientation when I do this. So I already know that the wrist is going to have to come forward some. All right. And then here and here, rotate forward. The thumb could come out, pull over a little. This one uncurl. don't think that one's curled. It's not. Oh my goodness. All right, there we go. So yeah, the wrist isn't close enough as far as I'm concerned. So let's get a little bit closer, go above. Okay, there we go. All right, now the fingertips again. All right, and then the fingers in general are not close enough. Let me do these two. All right, not too bad. All right. So now I feel like there's going to be a problem with some clipping. So let's just look at it from above. Press play. All right. Okay, so right there's the clipping issue. I don't know why it's doing that little bit of a lunge though. Let me go back to the hand real quick. So here, I'm just going to get rid of that keyframe because it's really annoying me. Here is where I think I'll rotate it. Yeah. And then I know I need to rotate this outward. But I'm going to move it forward a little since it's apparently needing to do that because I don't want it to lag out again. Or I could just do this. All right. Because it grabs it so quickly. And this way now, instead of me using the wrist to do the controlling, it'll be the fingers. So now that means I have to adjust the fingers to avoid clipping through. Which is fine, I guess. My thing is this angle here, this one particularly. I still feel like these should be a little bit slower than this one. Oh, okay, I see what happened there. All right. All right, so yeah, let's give these a little bit of a pause also. Don't forget to save. There it is. All right, see it from the front. Oof, hold on. Did it clip? Feel like that should poke out a little bit more than it does. All right, so now I have an issue with the hand and the wrist. So we see that, right? So that means now the biggest issue I see so far is the fact that I forgot to turn a portion of his body, which would be this portion. This should be turning, right? Okay, there we go. So, because he has turned that part of his body, right? And then the thing is his hands settle in just as he grabs. All right, so let's look at it from this angle. I'm going to change the camera angle. Have to lock it first. All right. We're going to get in there. We're going to squeeze in. We're going to squeeze in. Let's make this let's just bring it down some. All right. 40 milli. 40 milli. All right. Go. Yeah, not too bad. Let's go to 32. 40. Okay, and there may be a few things I would adjust, especially in the graph editor. But as of right now, that's the animation. So now again, I think also the next thing I would adjust is the other the other spines. So this one I would also turn a little, just give it a bit of a traverse, because even though his center would be stationary, I don't think that that portion would be stationary. All right. Yeah. See, so now we get this little bit of an adjustment in the center here, where you get the slight adjustment. So there, I want his fingers to splay out more there. Let's go for that. All right, so okay, so these fingers are splayed here. I'll adjust those. Understand my transform orientation is individual origins right now because I'm dealing with fingers. I also think this one's too high. All right. Yeah. And see, it makes a slight adjustment in the fingers towards the end also. So I know right here, I want to make an adjustment. So this would be what, the pinky and the ring finger? Cool. All right. So the pinky and the ring finger, I kind of want to offset. Not too bad. Okay. All right. Go back into animation. Now, because of that, let me check my time. 23 minutes of change. That's cool. So I guess here, what I'll do is there's usually I would make them blink or something like that, but it uses shape keys instead of other stuff. So let me go into texture. All right, and we're gonna watch him from that. I'll do the same thing over here. I'm just gonna go texture in the solid view. Okay, so now the next bit is I want to constrain this to him, to his hand. So now I'm going to show you where I'll constrain it to. All right, so I tend to use the middle finger and I tend to use this bone. So it'll be the middle finger 1 on the left hand. All right. So that means I come into my set, I go to my coffee cup, and I'm going to click the empty that is controlling it. So this is the empty controlling that. All right. I'm come over here to constraints, and I'm going to go to child of. Now, this is the thing. You have to animate the influence. Okay. All right. So we don't want to, we just want to make sure that it's selected. So it means we're going to select this rig, and then we're going to go middle. So we already know we want left, middle, 1. All right. Select inverse. Now, this is the issue. Presently, okay, listen very carefully. Presently, let's go to animation. Presently, this is not selected. Presently, this is not engaged. Okay, I mean, it's engaged. So if he moves, this is going to move. Okay, so we don't want that now, do we? So what we want to do is we're going to set this to 0. Okay, so now when he moves, it doesn't do anything. All right, so now it's caught there. So at 30, I'm going to literally at 30, I'm going to create a keyframe. So I'm going to keep, I'm sorry, not at 30, let's go to dope sheet. I'm going to create a keyframe at 29. And then at 30, I'm going to create another keyframe. All right. Okay. So set inverse. Now let me explain why I did that. So now when he goes to move, it won't change, right? So, okay. So now here is where we're going to get into some really unique animation. Okay. So I'm going to click him, get back to his rig. Okay. And it's locked now, right? Okay. So I'm going to select all of the parts and pieces. Which one was this? Huh, interesting. Oh, that's the dope sheet. Never mind. Go back to action editor. Okay. All right. So I'm going to click all of the pieces that I had set, and I'm going to make sure that they're set right here, right? Including the neck, because I set it also. All right. And then we're going to add 75 frames. Okay. So I'm going to go back about 22 frames to get back to his rest position. Okay. The difference is his hand is going to change a lot more. So I'm going to click these and I'm going to go back to his original position on those. Okay. So he just goes down, grab it, and comes back with it. Right. So we see clearly it's moving with his arm. So now what I have to do is grab his wrist, and we can already see where our keyframe is 52. So let me grab his wrist, and then I'm gonna hit F3. I mean, not F3, just hit 3, and I'm gonna roll it back. Go above. I'll rotate it a little. All right. And I'm gonna lift it up. Hit 3. I'm gonna lift it up and rotate it ever so slightly. Now, don't forget your pole target. Because again, he's holding a cup. Okay. Now, also, because of that selection there, I already know here, I just need this to be locked out there. So I'll do the same thing. Okay. So here, I want to go back to where I was also. Same thing for the shift D when I'm selecting those. And then, of course, I'm copying and pasting. So everything goes back to where it was. Okay. So now let's look at it through the viewport. Okay, so that is how you would do that. Okay, so automatically once I select the coffee cup, and go back into set, close. Okay, so I select the coffee cup, right? So now the constraint for the coffee cup is set. So on that first one, so as soon as it's on the first one, click, it's on. Now it's back on. Okay. Now I usually switch it between here and there, but I don't want it to shimmy. So it's going to switch when it's time for it to switch. Okay, so it's a part of the animation now. All right. Okay, so that is how we're going to do that. Okay, so I added 100 and something frames. So let me switch this back because it's too many. Okay, so we'll say 60 frames and just rotate into 60. So let's rotate around into 60. Okay. Okay, and then from there we'll have him drink or whatnot. So I don't want to go past the time that I want to set for each one of these. I want to try to keep them roughly around about 30 minutes, but that's basically the run of it. So then we'll try to refine it a little bit more if it needs it. I try to stay away from over keying, so this way that the keys run a little bit more smoothly. But there it is right there, like click, he's grabbed it, he picks it up. And then once I'm ready for it, because now I don't have to move the hands again until I wanted to go in reverse. Basically, he goes back. Okay. So I hope that helps. And the next one is coming very soon. Nothing but love. Check you guys later.